lineup change ignited KC's explosive win in Baltimore last night as the Royals return to the K a half game out of first in the Central. Now the always imposing Yankees come to town, led by the best second baseman in the game. Can Wade keep Cano and the Yanks quiet? And can Gordo go deep for the fourth straight game? Yankees and Royals next. Welcome to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City for Game 1 of this three-game series between the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. New York comes to town in first place in the American League East despite so many injuries. But this is a team that knows how to win. They have been to the playoffs 17 times in the last 18 years. So Kansas City's task will be formidable this weekend against the Yanks. But the Royals changed their order, and look what happened last night. The 3-4-5 combination of Gordon, Butler, and Hosmer went 5 for 12 combined last night. And as the Kansas City Star said earlier today, the new order looked pretty good. Joining me, of course, Rex Hudler. And Rex, how do you like the dynamics of the new order?
If you win, it works. I like the power guys, the established guys in the middle. It's a tough chore to ask a young second-year player to hit fourth or third. There's a lot of pressure. Gordon, he's a man on a mission. You look at Hosmer, checked it in with his first home run last night. One thing all these swings had in common, a nice little uppercut. But with those comes a nice controlled body, seeing the ball, then just using your hands. Good to see the production. Love the middle of the order. Escobar at the top is also a good thing. This should be really fun to watch. This will be a great series.
This is not your daddy's Yankees. No Jeter, no A-Rod, no problem. First place for New York, taking on Kansas City at the K.
booed him last year at the Home Run Derby, but they have seen him for years playing for the Yankees at Kauffman Stadium, and that might be the only big recognizable face pertaining to Yankee greats. Joe Goldberg back here in right field, and the Yankees have just been beaten and battered on the disabled list with major names like A-Rod and Jeter, Teixeira and Granderson, but somehow, some way, they have managed to get this done. Talking to their manager, Joe Girardi, today, he said that a lot of times you get guys that are struggling elsewhere, and sometimes if there's high expectations on them in New York, they can fail. But in the case of a lot of these guys like Vernon Wells and Travis Hafner, there were no expectations, and they are thriving in New York, getting it done for the Yankees with so many on the disabled list. 10 on the disabled list compared to 2 for the Royals, and that's Paulino and Danny Duffy. 289 days lost to the DL, and how about this? The combined salary for this season of players on the disabled list for the Yankees is greater than the salaries of 16 teams in the majors this year. Wade Davis, he has faced the Yankees plenty from his American League East days, and he's looking to get this quick homestand off to a good start. We've got baseball coming up next.
Missouri Lottery. Play it forward with Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by AT&T, the wireless receiver only from AT&T Ubers. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. This game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. We welcome you back to the K, where the Royals are a half game back of Detroit for first in the Central, and New York, and Joe Girardi is tied with Baltimore and Boston for first place in the East. Let's take a look at his starting lineup, and he will lead things off with the very fleet Brett Gardner, Robinson Cano, outstanding second baseman, Vernon Wells, Travis Hafner, and Ichiro Suzuki, 3 veterans who will be in the middle of the order. Then Jason Nix taking over for the injured Jeter and Nunez. And Lyle Overbay hits 7th. Chris Nelson will be the third baseman. And batting 9th, Chris Stewart, the catcher. And on the hill, Wade Davis, who was pretty sensational last year against New York.
Yeah, he's showing some blue. He's got them all bloused up, looking good. Hopefully that'll help him command that fastball. Last year, Wade made 4 relief appearances against the Yankees. He had 11 strikeouts, walked just 1, and he held the Bombers hitless over 5 relief appearances. So, look, if he can stay on that path, he'll be good. Defending behind him, we're going to show you Elliott Johnson. He gets the call again. He draws the ink from Ned because he's been swinging a good bat and playing a solid second base.
Elliott Johnson has played a lot recently, mainly for his offensive and defensive consistency, because he is 7 for 14 since April 30th. And here is Brett Gardner. You want to keep this guy off the base paths because he is extremely fast. A veteran, 29 years old, out of Holly Hill, South Carolina, batting .262.
And what the Yankees are going to see from Davis is a fastball down low, about 93. He might reach a 94, but he's more comfortable in the low 90s. Sink his fastball. He's going to cut it into lefties. He's got a changeup, curveball, and sometimes turns that little cutter into a slider. There it is there. Got a real nice cutter that he uses. And you're right, he's got to go after these guys. Keep the ball down. Same thing as most keys for pitchers. Use the defense.
It stays 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Wade is coming off a good game. Received a no decision in a 6-5 win in 10 innings on Sunday. Should have received the victory. Left with a 3-1 lead. But the Sox scored 4 in the 7th until KC came back for their biggest comeback of the year and won it in 10. Second base, Johnson knows he has to be quick, and he gets Gardner by a step and a half. 1 out. Well, the only familiar face that we know from last year is coming to the plate, and that is Robinson Cano. Look at all of the stars gone. Jeter, Granderson, Rodriguez, Teixeira, Swisher's in Cleveland. Ibanez has been moved away. Russell Martin's in Pittsburgh, and Wise, he's with the White Sox.
Well, last time Cano stepped in the box here at the K, he was greeted with a lot more vicious boos than we just heard there. And hopefully the results will be the same for 3 days. No homers.
Well, it goes back to his not selecting Billy Butler for the home run derby, and he swings at the first pitch and skies it in the air to center field. And Garrett Dyson makes the catch for out number 2. Let's take a look at our sprint, you call it, as we're speaking of the All-Star game and the home run derby. Billy Butler, who wins the home run derby this series? We will have you text 432-432 and enter A, B, C, D, or E. Hopefully it'll be one of the guys wearing the royal blue. Now with 2 outs, the batter will be Vernon Wells. Hey, Rex, I wanted to touch on Robinson Cano because a lot of people don't understand that selection process, because there's always politics involved, and that's why it wasn't completely Robinson's call on who he would pick, and it's not like he didn't want to pick Billy Butler. But Mike Swanson, our vice president in charge of communications, was in charge of media relations for the Dominican team for the WBC, and he said Robinson Cano was one of the greatest players they had and a delightful guy to be around. And he told Mike that he loves Billy Butler. Ground ball third. Moustakas has it. 1, 2, 3 for the Yankees in the first. Nice talking to you, Hud.
Hey, happy to be here.
Scramble it a little bit at the bottom of the order for this one. Game one of this three-game series. Escobar, Kane, Gordon, Butler, Hosmer, Perez, Moustakas. The bottom of the order has changed for game one. Elliott Johnson will play second base at batting ninth. Gerard Dyson. So a lot of speed at the top and bottom. And here is Phil Hughes.
Phil Hughes, he's looking to beat the Royals for the 5th straight time. He's 4-1 with a 5.51 in 7 career games. And he's coming off an excellent start, too. So he's a good pitcher, what Royals can look for as we show you their defense. Ichiro Suzuki. He's got a really nice arm out there for a little guy, but he's an all-around terrific ball player. One of the best in the game in the new era. He's a solid player. Good speed, still takes great care of himself. And they're all trying to impress Joe Girardi because when Granderson comes back, someone's going to have to sit.
They'll like those problems. Here is Escobar, and he takes a strike on the inside corner. Phil Hughes' fastball command has really been excellent the last 4 starts.
Yep, he's got a good one. He'll go 90 to 95, but he's more comfortable in the low 90s. He's got a nice little spike knuckle curve, change up. And the keys for the Royals, be patient, look for the fastball, and look for it up in the zone.
Hughes 1-2 this year with a 3.6 earned run average. And there is the breaking ball that Escobar checks his swing. They appeal. He did not go, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. But I was talking about his last 4 starts against Arizona, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Oakland. He's allowed just 6 runs in 28 innings. Better over the last 4 starts than even CC Sabathia. And there's a ground ball to short. Jason Nix throws out Escobar, 1 down. Three things you need to know about Phil Hughes. He is from Southern California. 53 career wins are the most ever by a Yankee first-round pick. But if you take a look at his career, he actually has had more success as a relief pitcher than as a starter. Kane goes after the first pitch and hits it on the ground. And Lorenzo is the second man out.
They're attacking Phil Hughes similar to what the Yankees were doing against Wade Davis. Being aggressive.
Toyota League leaders show Alex Gordon, and he is at top of so many categories in the American League. Batting average with 2 out, 7th inning or later. He's leading the circuit, and only Miguel Cabrera has a high average with men in scoring position. He has homered in 3 straight games. First time he's done that in his career.
Yeah, he's locked in right now, and he's a very confident hitter. He's hitting balls to the opposite field like I've never seen him, and he's recognizing the pitches inside, and he's got a little uppercut to his swing now. That's what happens when you're in a little home run groove.
Rex, how about the importance of his home runs? The one on Tuesday tied the game. The one on Wednesday cut it to 1. The one yesterday gave Kansas City the lead.
Yeah, that's why Ned moved him. I mean, he's more valuable to the Royals in the number 3 hole than he is in the leadoff hole. Okay, he can produce some runs. You see those home runs. You see it. Nice, easy, level swing with a slight uppercut. But his eyes are recognizing the pitch, and that you never see Alex do that. He got every bit of that ball last night.
Out to Utah Street. Well, Hughes coming out throwing strikes. He's thrown a total of 10 pitches, and only 1 has missed the zone. Yanks' first-round pick out of Foothill High School in 2004. Alex again sends it foul as Hughes comes after him with strike after strike. Phil grew up a Red Sox fan because his dad is from New England. His grandmother lives in Rhode Island.
Okay, Alex is doing what he likes to do. Tax the pitch count, find the one he wants.
good to see Alex in the 3 spot and Billy Butler in the number 4 spot. Billy's more comfortable in the 4, and these two guys here have experience. They've got some years in between them. And you know, when Ned named Moose the number 4 hitter in spring training, it kind of raised a few eyebrows from some people, me included. I was like, wow, that's a lot of pressure for a young guy in just his second full season. You know, and he went ahead and thrived in that position in spring training. But as the season went along, there was no production. Only 5 RBIs out of the number 4 hole. It's just a little bit too much to ask a young player to hit in those pressure spots. So I'm happy to see Ned Yost juggling that lineup some.
Barely misses outside, and looked like Hughes wanted that call from home plate umpire Mike Winters. Did not get it.
You have an at-bat like this in your first at-bat of the night. You're going good, especially all these pitches he's seeing.
And then he sends one back up the middle on a 2-2 count. Hughes turned to look over his left shoulder and stared at the home plate umpire Mike Winters as if to say, I should have had him out on the previous pitch.
So he forces him to come over the middle. And with Cano playing Alex to pull, that was no problem. Snuck it right by him. You see a lot of pitches in your first AB. You're much more confident coming in for your second one.
Now Billy Butler, who's been a little bit quiet of late. And he sends this one too short. Nix will get the force. Inning is over. Gordon left stranded. We head to number 2, looking for our first run. Great crowd at the K and sluggers having fun. Wade Davis, who had a nice tidy first inning, throwing just 9 pitches through 7 strikes to get the Yankees in order, now will face the always dangerous Travis Hafner. Ball 1, and Hafner, a powerful hitter, 6 home runs this year to go with his 18 RBIs. He had that lower back problem last year with Cleveland, Hud, but he really feels this is the healthiest he has been in a long, long time.
Yeah, and you know, he lost 20 pounds in spring training this spring. With the advice of his trainer, he said, hey, look, when you get a little bit older, it's going to be easier for you to carry yourself around. Travis is strictly a hitter. He doesn't even take ground balls or outfield balls at all. He goes in after he hits and he stretches, and they don't even want him to catch a ball or throw one. This is a paid hitter.
And he skies that one out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. He is now 35 years of age, from Sykeston, North Dakota. Grew up on a tiny little soybean and wheat farm up in North Dakota. But with his athleticism and power, and he hits him far. 3-1.
And I asked him, you know, when you lose 20 pounds in spring training, sometimes that'll affect your power. Do you think that's hurt you at all? And he goes, no, you know what? I feel as strong as I always have. I'm not having to carry that extra weight around. He feels good.
Skies that one in the air. Right side. Hosmer over. And will not have room.
It's like Davis is pounding a lot of the Yankees in on their hands. So they're not able to get their bat extended out there. You want to tie this guy up. You don't want to give him anything out over the plate, especially middle in.
Three-two count. Would you think of throwing a curve?
He could throw a curve, but I'm saying he gets him out with a fastball. Take your chances. Hit Salvi right away there.
He does, and barely misses outside. Winters does not give the outside corner to Hughes, and now to Davis. And that is the first base on balls issued in tonight's ball game.
Yeah, it's off the plate.
So the batter will be Ichiro Suzuki, who's heated up of late, hitting .340 in his last 11 games, but his batting average only .267. Not too many years ago, he was one of the great hitters in the game, but now 39 years of age out of Kobe, Japan. He pulls it to right field and deep. Away back goes Lorenzo Cain, and it's gone. A home run for Suzuki.
Second home run of the season for Ichiro, and he's been watching. He's a student of the game. He sees that Davis has been coming inside with fastballs to the previous hitters, and he was waiting for it. Okay, he's pulled his hands in. The ball was already elevated and ran Cain into the wall.
Jason Nix takes strike one.
Give Ichiro an elevated fastball. He can do that. They wanted him to do more of that when he was with Seattle. Short porch in right field, and now he's in Yankee Stadium. He's got an even shorter porch.
Davis was dotting the corners down in the zone, but he has been up in this inning, both to Hafner and, of course, to Ichiro. And now to Jason Nix. Smack to left field. Once again, Davis really getting that ball up. The throw by Alex Gordon will not be in time. And 3 straight problems for Davis with a walk, a home run, now a double by Jason Nix.
Salvi wants it in. It was in, but is elevated again. Ball's a little bit easier to barrel up when it's up in the strike zone.
Wade didn't even allow a hit against New York last year as a relief pitcher for Tampa Bay. The Yankees were 0 for 17 against him in his career. 2 and 3 against New York with an earned run average under 4. Here is Lyle Overbay. And again, Salvi throws the target low, and Davis is up. Wade, a big guy at 6'5", 225, struggling to get that fastball down.
Just stay on top. Drive down through.
Again up and missing. 2-0.
Overbay's got some pull power. Although I've seen him go the opposite field a few times, but now that he's a little bit more mature, he's looking for that ball inside. Wants to jump on it.
2-1. Royals came in with a record of 18-13, a half game back of Detroit. Tigers are hosting Cleveland tonight, so teams 1 and 3 in the Central Division battling up at Comerica. Corey Kluber will be on the hill for the Tribe, and Max Scherzer will try and run his record to 5-0. The other Central team, Minnesota, is hosting Baltimore. That's Hamill against Pelfrey. Wade has really slowed himself down in between pitches.
A couple of things in Davis's starts this year that I've noticed is his tempo is not consistent. Sometimes when he gets in a little bit of trouble, he slows the game down a lot, and really you want the opposite. You want to keep your guys on their toes and look more confident when you get that ball and throw it in there. And the other thing is the high pitch count. Runs a lot of full counts. And
Overbay with a smash to right. That's a way back and gone, and it's 4-0 Yankees.
fastball, it's not being located, so Salvi had to put down some crooked fingers as the Yankees are putting up some crooked numbers. That fastball is just not doing much. It's straight.
And this is a New York team that has taken advantage of every opponent's mistake this year to push the record to 20-13 and stay equal with Baltimore and Boston for first in the East. So the Royals must come back again. They do have 11 come from behind victories, but Davis somehow must keep them in this game. Royals starting pitching has really been solid. They've had 6 straight quality starts, even during that 3-game losing streak. They have 20 this year in 31 games. They only had 13 at this time last year. Here is Chris Nelson. Boy, there have been a lot of good looking swings against Davis. He hasn't been able to get a man out. Guthrie got the win yesterday, gave them 6 solid innings, only allowed 1 earned run, as he is now not lost in 18 straight starts, a Kansas City record.
Davis has got to make some adjustments on that fastball. He's got to be able to stay on top and down through it. His body's a little bit out in front of him. Use that pitch elevated.
I beg your pardon, yesterday was their 12th comeback. Chris Nelson goes down swinging, but again, Davis laboring to get that ball down. Hey fans, join us for the next summer fireworks on Friday, May 24th versus the Angels. Stay after the game for a fireworks show courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Plus, it's Buck Night. Hot dogs, peanuts, and small soft drinks are just $1. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets for summer fireworks and Buck Night. Davis throws a breaking ball, and he's able to get that one down. And here is Chris Stewart.
He's doing a nice job getting most of the starts for the Yankees.
Perez or Moustakas, it's Salvi for the catch, the second out. Davis looked brilliant in the first, not so here in the second. Brett Gardner grounded out to second his first time up. Wade only needed 9 pitches to get through the first. He's already needed 24 to get 2 outs in the second. Home run by Ichiro, a home run by Overbay.
That's the kind of swing Gardner likes to put on. Anything out over the plate, he's going to just hit it where it's pitched and use that great speed. Likes to hit the ball on the ground.
We expect beautiful weather for all 3 games. Tonight, tomorrow night will be at 6, and then Sunday afternoon. And that is pulled to the right side but foul, so Gardner's going to have to come back and try it again. And this is a very brief homestand. Then the Royals head off to play the Angels, the Athletics, and the Astros. So get here this weekend and try and fill the place. Bring your enthusiasm. And right now, the Royals fans haven't had much to cheer about because in the second inning, New York dropped a 4 spot on them. Down the line, but that is foul.
Yep. Might have fractured that bat. Commanding that fastball is every pitcher's key, even if you're not an overpowering guy. Now, Wade at one time was a power pitcher. I don't think he's a power pitcher anymore. He might have been out of the bullpen, but as a starter, I say he's kind of an average as far as velocity goes. You won't see much more than 93, 94 out of him. Power pitchers are consistently in the mid-90s.
He's thrown 30 pitches this inning after throwing just 9 in the first. Still struggling to get Brett Gardner out, and everything has been about elevation. Can he get that fastball down? Now he jammed Gardner here and strikes him out, but a bad second inning for Wade Davis. When we come back, we'll see Eric Hosmer, who hit his first home run since September 11th last year. Three-game series. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here is Eric Hosmer. I told you going to break, he hit his first home run since September 11th against Minnesota, 145 at bats. He's upped his average to 277 because he has been hitting .313 the last 2 weeks. And Rex, one thing I wrote down on my scorebook, I went back and looked at the last 10 games. Hosmer, 27 of the last 32 balls he's put into play have gone either up the middle or to left field. Do you think New York will make adjustments and pitch him differently?
You know, if I saw a number like that and I was a pitching coach, I'd say let's pitch him inside, see if he can pull the ball. It's like that one. But, you know, they have their own reports and their own scouts, and they'll pitch him accordingly. But Hosmer's whole key is his right foot, his lead foot. He's just going up on his toe and coming back down with his heel. He's not overstriding.
Well, good at bat for Eric Hosmer. He walks to open the bottom of the second inning, so Kansas City has their second base runner. Maybe they can make Phil Hughes pay the way Wade Davis paid when he walked the leadoff batter Hafner, and Ichiro followed with a home run. Here is Salvador Perez. He has one home run this year to go with his 10 RBIs. Good numbers at the K2, hitting .373. That's fourth best in the American League. And Salvi goes after the first pitch.
We've seen a lot of very nice things by the Royals so far this season, but the characteristic that they've developed with their comeback ability, there were times in the past where when they got down 4-0, it was going to be an uphill climb. But these guys know they're in every game. They don't let down, and they may not slug you to death, but they'll peck you to death. Everybody 1 through 9, they got some frenzy hitting going on, and that's obvious with that nice AL best .309 batting average.
Well, they have a long time to come back in this one, but the key will be Wade Davis must recover from a very negative second inning and get that ball down around the knees and below.
Yep. Might have to go to the pin. Can't figure it out. Not Davis won't have to go to the pin. Ned might have to go there early tonight.
Hughes' last start, brilliant, beating Oakland 4-2. Shut them out for 8 innings. There's a line drive back up the middle. Good start in the second for KC as they have their second hit. And now Mike Moustakas will come up.
Every pitcher has his own style as far as his windup goes. Hughes is a compact guy. He's short and compact. And sometimes that's better for hitters. They don't see a lot of arms and legs coming. They're just able to focus on that release point with not too many distractions, with a short, compact delivery like Hughes has. Okay, Salvador Perez really used the opposite field very well so far in his young career. Hands go first, great head position, stiff front leg, and great balance.
2 on for Mike Moustakas, who has homered in each of his last 2 games. He takes strike 1. Mike hit a home run off a lefty last night against TJ McFarland, but I was really impressed with the home run he hit on Chris Tillman, who is a pitcher much like Phil Hughes, tall, good downward angle.
Really, I like the home run off the lefty. That gives Moose more confidence that he can hang in there against lefties, and he hooked the pole, and he's not over swinging. He's just staying short to the ball with his hands, using his hands, not a lot of body.
All 3 home runs have come in the last 10 games. In there, 1 and 2.
.309 average with runners in scoring position. At AL best by the Royals.
Just barely got a piece of it.
Moustakas is hitting 105 with the runners in scoring position. That'll change as it gets a little bit hotter. Just missed that. A little bit up.
A walk to Hosmer. He's at second. A single by Perez. Nobody out. He struck him out, and he went after him with high heat on back-to-back pitches.
He thought he would try it again, and it worked. Moose is elevated. The pitch was elevated there. Moose just got caught.
Now Elliott Johnson is Ned Yost trying to stay with the hot hand as Elliott's 7 hits in his last 14 at bats since the end of April. Included in that is a home run. It was right here at the K into the right field bullpen.
You got Johnson and Dyson down at the bottom, and Escobar and Kane and Gordon up at the top. You got five guys in there that can run. They can get on. We'll see if Ned will try to stir it up. But right now, Johnson just like to put something hard in play and knock in a run.
And Phil Hughes really has him on the defensive, getting strike 1 consistently, and now he has Johnson down 0-2. Wow. He is really teasing the Royals up in the zone, and I say that because his command is so much better than Wade Davis in the second inning because his elevation is by design.
They're just swinging out of the strike zone. That's all that is. If you find a pitcher that's throwing high fastballs to try to get you out, crouch down a little bit, maybe get a little bit lower. So when you see it up there, eye level, it's a ball.
So the Royals unable to advance the base runners after Hosmer walked and Perez singled. And now Dyson is up, and he also takes strike 1. Jeff Francoeur and Chris Getz getting the evening off.
Dyson's been working on slapping that ball in those holes there.
Third straight batter is 0-2 with Phil Hughes.
Wants to keep the ball on the ground. Utilize that good speed. You see these holes here, and the third baseman's in, and even though he's a little bit back now.
Do you expect Hughes to work him up in the zone with that fastball, the way they're swinging at?
He'll try it, and Dyson gets thrown up in the zone a lot because they want him to hit the ball in the air. It's like that. I mean, he doesn't have any home run power. I mean, he's got the occasional pop, but pitchers want him to hit in the air. Sometimes with 2 strikes on a contact hitter like Dyson, you're doing him a favor if you throw him a little off-speed pitch out over. He's just going to try to slap it through the hole. He's going to stay hard on it. Take your chances.
Dyson checked his swing. They appeal. He did not go. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phil Hughes would like to finish him off here. The last thing he'd like to do is have a 3-2 count where Hosmer and Perez would be going, where Dyson could gap one. He could score both. This will be his 40th pitch of the game. Only 11 have missed. And that's a swing and a drive to right field and deep. And look at this. It's the second home run in Jarrod Dyson's entire Major League career. High heat, Hud.
That's right. Dyson said, okay, I understand you're going to try to get me out on a little lazy pop-up. He said he's got an occasional pop. I didn't know he could do it right here at the right time with 2 runners on. There it was, elevated, just threw his hands. It was already elevated. Phil Hughes knew it second. Dyson, I believe he knew he hit that one out.
Hud, you said occasional pop. How about every 3 years?
Yeah, there it is.
His last big league home run was 376 at-bats ago on September 27, 2010 against the Minnesota Twins' Kevin Slowey. Wow, and the Royals right back in it.
There you go.
The unexpected Jarrod Dyson goes deep.
Yeah, there you go, Wade.
I told you I was strong.
Andre David, hitting coach, is saying, hey, look, we've been telling you to lay off of those high pitches.
You know what he's telling him? That's what power do. Ground ball short. Nix gets Escobar, but the damage has been done. Jarrod Dyson with his first home run of the year, his first home run in 3 years in the big leagues. Home run, and KC right back in it. Now we will get a chance to see Robinson Cano for the second time. He flied out to center field, saw one pitch from Wade Davis and flied out to Dyson in center.
Tell you what, Dyson hits one out of the park. He might find himself some more playing time.
You got that right.
But there's one thing, though, Fizz, when that happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen to Dyson like it did Chris Getz. When Getz hit his first home run in over 900 at-bats, he went into a horrible slump after that. And we're not hoping that's going to happen to Jarrod. Because guys that aren't supposed to go deep, when you do, sometimes that takes your thinking away from really who you are and what your game really is.
I believe we have Mr. Andre David and Jack Maloof to remind him who he really is. As you said, stay on top of the ball and hit it on the ground. But occasionally, when you get a fastball up,
why not take a rip? I told you he's got some pop, occasional, but I didn't mean 376 at bats in between homers.
As the great George Brett always said, don't try and hit it far, just try and hit it hard. And occasionally the ball will go far.
If you catch it right. Got to get underneath it.
He popped it up. Left side, Moustakas. One out. Well, earlier we asked our home run derby question, the unlimited answer sweepstakes presented by Sprint. Vote in tonight's unlimited answers poll and enter for your chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game courtesy of Sprint. And right now, Alex Gordon leads the way, so we're getting a lot of votes from Lincoln, Nebraska, where they love their Cornhusker.
Yeah, but so far, 20%. The other could be Dyson. Who knows? I don't know if he'll win it over the 3-game series. He's hoping he's in the lineup again tomorrow. But first things first, they've still got a lot of game to play and could be a slugfest. Although Phil Hughes hasn't given up a home run on the road yet. That's not a good sign when your number 9 guy takes you deep.
Ground ball up the middle. Johnson has it. Wells is the second out.
But what Davis is doing now is what he needs to do. 1, 2, 3, keep the momentum on your side. Get him right out of there. Don't let them get back anybody on base.
And Rex, you and I both really believe Dave Island is an outstanding pitching instructor for the Kansas City Royals, and he is their coach. And the little things that he might work on with Wade Davis in between innings about how to get the ball back down.
Stay on top. Use that 6'5" frame. Keep that arm slot there. Follow the shoulder. Shoulder leads home. And watch Salvi and try to throw downhill.
Now Hafner, who started the trouble for Davis in the second by walking. That was followed by an Ichiro home run. And Wade has an excellent spike curveball. Just saw it there, but it was a little bit low and in. Hafner, a very disciplined hitter. He has 16 walks this year. Well, how strong is Travis Hafner? He's out of Sikeston, North Dakota, and he got really strong lifting hay bales, and this is what he can do. He hit that one into rivals.
But if you look at Travis then, and you look at him now, big difference. 20 pounds will make.
Hosmer, nice soft hands. Good play by Eric. And Davis with a sharp third inning, bouncing back well. For helping people around the world. Pam started with Operation Blessing International nearly 18 years ago. When she first arrived, Pam developed the first Gifts in Kind program, which acquires and distributes donated food and supplies for both domestic and international relief efforts, and has since received and donated more than 1 billion pounds of product. Operation Blessing. Pam, you are a blessing. Here we go. Kansas City back ready to go offensively. Lorenzo Cain will lead things off against Phil Hughes. Another 0-2 count. Ooh, and then he hit Lorenzo Cain in the left side on an 0-2 fastball in. And that had to really hurt.
Got him on the elbow, it looked like. Oh, and 2 anymore. You used to see that all the time. But anymore, they don't want to waste their pitches. They're not going to come in like this. But if it came in on him, it looked like it hit him in his left forearm. Better on the forearm than on the elbow. Although it's not good to get a hit anywhere.
And that is a pitch like that near the wrist that took Curtis Granderson out for the New York Yankees. And Granderson very close to coming back. And right now, head athletic trainer Nick Canny was out there to make sure Cain is all right. He says he is. Let's go back and take a look at Granderson.
Okay, the big difference there is that hit him on the wrist. Okay, Cain's was on the forearm. The wrist, and he was already committing to a swing. Lorenzo was getting out of the way, so he didn't take the brunt of that fastball. Granderson, he was committing to swing, and that ball hit him squarely.
Here is Alex Gordon. All of a sudden, Phil Hughes is laboring with his control up in the zone. At first, it was for effect because the Royals were swinging out of the zone and they struck out Moustakas and Johnson. But he made a mistake up to Gerard Dyson, who rode it out for a 3-run home run. 1-1. Beautiful evening here in Kansas City. Finally, the good weather has arrived in mid-May. Royals coming back from Baltimore. All 3 games were threatened by rain, and the Birds took 2 of 3, even though Kansas City out-homered them 6-3. But the Royals' problem was on defense.
And you know, hardly any wind. Hardly any wind tonight. That's unusual. A lot of wind here in Kansas City. And it affects the ball in play, so we might see some true shots to all fields.
Tying run at first base. Gordon has homered in each of his last 3 games, and now a quick throw over by Phil Hughes. The Royals do have a running team. They are 4th in the American League in stolen bases with 24, and Cain has 4 of those. Stewart is a good catch and throw guy. Francisco Cervelli is one of their catchers in the disabled list right now.
Yeah, Stewart's done a nice job this year. He's had 6 stolen bases on him. He's caught 5 for a nice 45% percentage of throwing guys out. And he likes to color his fingernails orange.
Alex sends one to right field. Ichiro drifting back near the track makes the catch, and Cain retreats to first base, and Alex almost hit it 370 feet, even though he hit it with one hand. Off balance. So here is Billy Butler. Billy with just 3 hits in his last 24 at bats. We had a chance to visit with him during batting practice today, and he has been working inside with Jack Maloof, and then out on the diamond today trying to square that game up and find his consistent approach. Really think Billy will start taking off with protection behind him coming from Hosmer and Perez tonight. Again, high and tight. 3 things that you need to know about milestones. Billy Butler 1 RBI away from 500 in his Kansas City career. And Eric Hosmer 1 from 150. Joe Girardi 1 win from 500. When Phil Hughes came up, he used to throw a lot of pitches per inning. Joe Torre was his manager. pitch to Billy Butler. Sky to the right side. Ichiro will take care of this one and makes the catch. And 2 outs after Kane was hit by the pitch.
Hey, so Ned tried to help Billy there by putting on a little hit and run. And Billy was trying to hit it to the right side, but on a hit and run, you want to hit it on the ground. Can't always do it, but whenever the sign is on, that eliminates the thinking. Sometimes managers will do that to help a hitter get out of his little slump.
Hosmer walked his first time up. Perez then singled. After a couple of strikeouts, Dyson hit one down the right field line and out for a 3-run home run. Here is Eric Hosmer, and he takes strike 1.
Phil Hughes is pretty quick home. So when you're a base runner and you see a guy getting that ball to the catcher quickly, if you're going to go, try to pick a breaking ball.
Phil has always struggled with the long ball and pitch efficiency. A lot of 25 to 30 pitch innings, but he's able to correct that the last 4, and they have been dominant starts against Arizona, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Oakland. That ball is struck to right center field. Gardner makes the catch and 3 flyouts, and Hughes continues to pitch up in the zone and get away with it. Bread, try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously, and buy Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. Wade Davis will face Ichiro Suzuki, then Jason Nixon, Lyle Overbay. Ichiro, first pitch he saw from Davis, he hammered out down the right field line. Red Sox fan here.
Wow.
Sitting with a Royal fan. Pondering what pitch Davis should throw next. Fastball in.
Ichiro Suzuki, what a career he's had. Now, if he had played his entire baseball career in America, he might have caught Pete Rose in hits. But he played 10 years of ball in Japan before he even got here. I mean, he's a phenomenal talent. He's recorded at least 150 hits in each of his first 12 major league seasons since '01.
Over 3,900 hits in his career, but not this time as he grounds out to Wade Davis. Hey fans, Mother's Day is this Sunday, and Mom's gift is on us. The first 10,000 ladies through the gates will receive a blue pashmina scarf, something that Rex is going to get for Jennifer. And it's brought to you by Diet Pepsi. So give your mom the royal treatment at beautiful Kauffman Stadium and take in the Yanks and Royals at 1:10. Plenty of good seats are still available. So get your tickets now at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS.
That lady has a scarf on.
Jason Nix, the batter, doubled his first time up on a high fastball and then scored an overbase home run to right.
Nix is a steady player. You've got to have a Jason Nix on your team. Everybody would like to have one. Very consistent wherever you play him. He's played for the Rockies, White Sox, Cleveland, Toronto.
Those weren't your cities, but it seemed like your travels. He's 30 years old, out of Dallas, Texas, doesn't have your speed, but you kept on making stop after stop. And you have to do that when you're an extra guy.
Got to. You got to be consistent. Got to be able to make the plays wherever they put you. You can play anywhere, really.
How do you have to handle it in the clubhouse, Hud, as an extra player?
Just come to the ballpark ready to play. Get your work in. You know, he's filling in for Jeter and some of the guys that are injured. And you know that your time is limited, so you got to do all you can. When you see your names in the lineup, all right, it's my turn.
I would imagine, Rex, early in your career, you're thinking, I want to start. I want to play every day. Why am I not? And then as you get a little older, you have to make some mental adjustments.
And once you have a utility label, it's really tough to break that in the big leagues. There's been a few guys who've been able to shed that term, utility guy. But at some particular point in your career, you've got to be able to accept your role. That was my first baseball card right there. It came out in 1985. I was so proud, man. I went and I showed my mom. I said, Mom, I got a baseball card.
A little bit low, and Nix walks. Second walk issued by Davis. Wade wants a new baseball. Boy, they had some great battles. The Royals and the Yankees, the Pinstripes and the Royal Blue back in the 70s and 80s. In so many years, New York broke their heart until George hit 3 home runs off Goose, off New York and off Goose. Boy, was he one of the great clutch hitters in the history of the game, and the battles that he had against New York. Some painful losses, but that thrilling 1980 season when they finally knocked him off and went to the World Series to play the Phils. In the air, center field, deep. Dyson off to the races. Will he get there? No, it's up against the wall. And they will send the runner home. And Perez blocking the plate, but getting there just in time is Nix with the team's 5th run.
He didn't block the front of the plate. Great throw by Escobar. Had Salvi put his shin guard in front of the plate on the third base side, he might have blocked him out. This ball was hit a ton. No question about it. It was deep. Dyson's not going to catch that ball, and he was playing him to pull. It was well placed.
I have no idea what fountain of youth
here's
Lyle Overbay is drinking from, but look at this.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Salvi didn't block the plate in front, but he was trying to deke him at the same time. He was standing straight up. Sometimes the runner can't see the play out there, so and then just couldn't get his shin guard in the right place.
So 5-3 New York. Here's Chris Nelson, struck out his first time up. Rex, that's what's unbelievable. There were a lot of players that New York got that other teams gave up on. Vernon Wells, Lyle Overbay, Travis Hafner was almost a gift as well. Brennan Bosch, after The Detroit Tigers released him during spring training, and they've all contributed. And Overbay, it seems like the only time he ever gets a hit is when you really need him to get a hit. His team is either down or somebody's on base.
All right, let's watch Nix run the bases here. They walk. Okay, now he's coming to third base. Kind of slowed down just a little bit at the end there. But you know, the Yankees, they're a veteran organization. They've always have been, especially when George Steinbrenner was there. They like established guys. And Brian Cashman, the general manager, didn't have a lot of ready-made talented players in this system, so they did what they used to do. Go out and get veteran guys that have been established.
But there are a lot of teams with veteran guys. The Chicago White Sox have veteran guys, yet they're 14 and 18 this year. The Angels have a veteran team, and they have had a miserable start to this season.
Well, these guys are late ads. They're this year's ads, so they're all excited about playing in New York, and they're reviving their career. That's the difference.
How much of it has to do with expectations of New York? They have been to the playoffs 17 times in the last 18 years.
Well, nobody expected anything out of the Yankees this year, so the expectations were very low for the first time in years.
They've had great starting pitching, a remarkable bullpen as well, led by Mariano Rivera, who's 13 for 13 closing out games this year. And that struck down the line by Nelson. But you still wonder, how long will this last? Will these guys be able to survive until Teixeira, Granderson, Rodriguez, Jeter are able to come back? Michael Pineda still on the disabled list, one of their starting pitchers, Ivan Nova. And yet they continue to win. In the air to Lorenzo Cain. Perez, Moustakas, and Johnson coming up after Davis gives up one more. City when Mariano Rivera was shagging balls at the outfield in Kansas City and injured his right knee, missed the majority of the season. There was some doubt on whether he would be able to continue his career, and today they had a lot of fun with him. His teammates put up the no mo sign out there, no mo zone, and he had a laugh about that. He will be with Joel Goldberg tomorrow as he'll be interviewed here on our pregame show. Phil Hughes comes back out now with a 2-run lead, 5-3. Bottom of the fourth, Salvador Perez singled his last time up and scored on Dyson's home run. And Phil Hughes continues to pitch up in the zone, yet get away with several of his fastballs. He did not to Dyson.
Okay, so hitters can tell themselves that, and they go back to the dugout and tell their teammates, Hey, he's challenging guys with high fastballs. So you can do two things. You can stand up a little straighter, rely on your top hand and look for one of those that maybe is a mistake, or you can duck them. Look down.
Perez to center field. Gardner goes back to pull it down, and Salvi just picked the deepest part of the yard and hit it at a fast outfielder. So there's one down to open the bottom half of the fourth. Well, Mike Moustakas struck out in the second inning, Rex. What adjustments must he make, because he chased a lot of high fastballs?
Lay off of that pitch. Just try to tell yourself, I'm not going to swing when I see it up. But those are pitches that Moose can pull out of here. It's a fine line.
Hughes has shown very good command, with the exception of the one pitch he threw Dyson. Hit the 3-run home run. 2 out in the second with 2 strikes on him. Wants it up and on the hands, and Mike Mayhew swung at ball 2.
Yeah, that was on his hands. Heck. He's pounding him in the zone inside.
Goes away with the fastball. Let's see if he comes back in. He went in with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Now away with a 93-mile-an-hour heater.
Try to get him on an off-speed pitch.
He did throw the changeup. It's now full 3-2. Hughes has walked 1. Boy, he got that one in a spot where he didn't want it. You could see where Chris Stewart was motioning up with the fastball, a similar pitch that he struck him out on in the second, but this one.
Yep, 3-2. He's in hit mode all the way.
And Mike barely misses, sending it down the line. Ooh, watch it over there. That fan kind of stretched out. Almost fell onto his noggin.
Okay, he's challenging Moose, and Moose is getting him out of his kitchen. He's fouling some balls off hard in there. So sometimes, when a hitter and catcher see that, they might, on a 3-2 pitch, change up on him or try to stay away here this time.
Good at bat by Mike, and he walks for the 12th time this year.
Okay, that's good. Moose has been getting his walks. Seeing more pitches, more confident.
Hughes has now thrown 70 pitches.
He's going to a lot of 3-ball counts. Royals hitters are fighting him off.
Let's see if Elliott Johnson can stay away from that high heat. Struck out swinging on a high fastball for the second out in the second inning. In there for strike 1. That second inning started with Hosmer walking, Perez singling, and then Moustakas and Johnson both struck out, and Hughes had Dyson down 0-2 in the count at one time, and then it evened out at 2-2, and then he missed with a high heater, and Dyson jumped all over it for his first home run of the year. That ball is popped up and then dropped. And are they calling it an out? They say he did hold on to it long enough, that Robinson Cano held on to it long enough on the exchange from glove to hand, so it is a double play that ends the inning. StubHub is a great place to find the seats you want to see the Royals in person. Now they've added StubHub fan rewards so you can earn a little extra with your tickets, like seat upgrades. So head to StubHub and get your Royals tickets today.
StubHub.
Brett Gardner will lead things off, top of the 5th. Gardner 0 for 2 with the ground out and strikeout. Ball 1. He only played in 16 games last year because of a right elbow injury on April 18th. And they thought he would be back in late June, and he was unable to come back when he re-injured it and gone for the season. And that was a big loss because he is their speed threat. Twice in his career he's stolen 47 or more bases in a season. Showed bunt that brought Moustakas down at third base. Wade Davis had one brilliant game this year, and it was against a really good team, the Atlanta Braves, who had won 10 straight games, and he shut them out for 7. We haven't seen that Davis again. There's the pitch. That ball struck in the alley, and that's trouble. Looks like 2. It's played by Kane. Gardner gets in with a leadoff double.
All right, when you make contact and you're a speed guy and you see that's falling, man, you're thinking extra base right out of the box. Kane has got a great throwing arm. It's a little bit short there. Gardner's quick. Escobar going to hold him close at second base, so he's going to give up a little bit of ground there at shortstop, but Cano likes to pull the ball when he can.
Now, Ned Yost does have options, even though he's down by 2 runs. This is their best hitter, a left-handed batter. You could make him hit your pitch, and even if you walk him, at least you set up a double play for Vernon Wells. Instead, they do get it on his hands, and Cano helps them out as Perez makes a basket catch. No advance by Gardner.
Hey, nice first pitch. Came in on his hands. Got the pop-up. Salvi says, thank you. I'll take that. Happy birthday to Salvador Perez, by the way.
Turns 23. I was talking with Jason Kendall before the game about Salvador, because Jason was telling me, even though he was raised in a baseball family, I mean, his dad, Fred Kendall, a long time major leaguer, so he understood the game from a very young age. But he said he was 5 years into starting as a big league catcher, where he really understood the game, what hitters were trying to do, their feet positioning, where they would change in the batter's box, and how I could pitch them or have the pitcher pitch to them differently. He said Salvi has all of the instincts, and he said he and Jason talk all the time. Bruce Chen warming in the Royals bullpen, because Davis certainly does not have his good command. He was better in his last start against the Chicago White Sox, allowing 1 run in 6 innings, but still did not have the same kind of command or stuff that he showed the Atlanta Braves in early April.
It's more about location. His cutter's been good. That's how he got Cano out. That little pop up there, and then he threw a one to Vernon Wells at first pitch. So when he's getting ahead now, it's good. See if we can finish him with a curveball.
He has a 1-2 count. There are a lot of people who believe in Wade Davis, including the Yankee skipper. When I was in New York a couple of weeks ago, Joe asked me, tell me about the Davis kid. And I told him, I said, well, he's had a couple of rough starts, but he had the really good start against Atlanta. And he said, all I can tell you, Steve, is that When he was placed in the bullpen for Tampa Bay, I'll bet you there were 29 big league clubs calling the Rays and asking about Wade Davis. He is 27 years young, 6'5", 225, good sinking fastball. As you talked about with the cutter and that spike curve, which are really good pitches, but he must locate them better. There's the curve hit on the ground. They'll hold the runner. Wells is out. Gardner holds at second, but unable to advance it. Get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Phil Hughes is topped out at 94, and so is Davis. Hafner has walked and grounded out. Davis gave up 4 in the second, 1 in the fourth. Really could give his team a lift by getting Hafner out and freezing the speedy Gardner at second base. Strike one.
All right, they're all spread out. Escobar, he's playing right over the middle. You got Johnson playing shallow right field. You know, he likes to pull the ball. Escobar now is moving on the second base side.
So many great years for the Cleveland Indians, including a 42 home run season in 2006. Went after him with high heat, well located that time, and it is 1-2.
He has one of the best nicknames in baseball, if you ask me. Pronk. And Cleveland gave him that when he first came up. And that's a split for, he's a project and he's a big donkey. So they just nicknamed him Pronk.
No longer project.
No. But nicknames stick. Just missed that outside corner there on it. Set up pitch for the next one coming. Maybe he'll throw him that curveball down. Hafner hitting .345 with runners in scoring position.
Good pitch. Hafner fights it off. Davis right now at 86 pitches trying to fight his way through the fifth. The Royals will have Dyson, Escobar, and Kane coming up in their half of this inning.
Ned's had Bruce chin up and he's loose and ready to go.
He hasn't seen that good breaking ball. There it is, but Hafner doesn't bite, and the count is full 3-2. First base is open, but you have the dangerous Suzuki next. Still, you don't have to give in. Gardner led the inning off with a double. Cano popped up. Wells grounded out.
Fastball away. Getting to pop it up.
Looks like they're going to try and come inside. And this is quite a duel between Hafner and Davis. Got himself a foul ball here at the K on a Friday night, first of a 3-game series between the Royals and Yankees. Way to go. You made my day. I'm taking it home. A curveball's hit to left, and Gordon will run it down. Davis got away with one there, but Gardner is left stranded, and we head to the bottom of the fifth with Dicey to lead it off. Wine takes us back to the second inning.
Dice got one in the air. And underneath it, Phil Hughes. First home run given up on the road this year. It's Dyson with a big shot.
Now he will lead things off for Kansas City here in the fifth inning, and he takes a curveball for strike one. They're playing him in at third base with Chris Nelson. Had so many injuries, and of course Alex Rodriguez, their great third baseman, not expected to come back until at least after the All-Star break. That would be at the earliest. Rodriguez, Jeter, Teixeira, three members of their infield all gone. Granderson, one of their outfielders, injured.
I don't know if they'll try any more high fastballs on Dyson right here. Gerard wants to get back to his game, hit the ball on the ground.
Didn't miss by much, but it's 2-2. He only had one start on the last homestand and had 2 hits and 2 RBIs against Cleveland. And he sends that one to left field. Backing up is Vernon Wells to pull it down. Vernon, who is a terrific center fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays, now playing left at this stage in his career. New York scored 4 runs in the second. Kansas City came back with the Dyson 3-run blast, and then New York scored on the Overbay double. Well, here's a guy trying to get hot again, as his being 1 for his last 20 has dropped his average down to 258. Escobar given the lead role as Ned Yost mixing the lineup, going with Escobar, Kane, and Gordon rather than Gordon, Escobar, and Butler.
I think the early power that Escobar's shown with 3 home runs has hurt him a little bit too, because he's swinging a little bit more strong now. I mean, he seems like he's trying to lift balls up rather than get him on the ground.
And Rex, he was really good when he was hitting the ball to the right side.
Right. So that's what home runs do sometimes. You trick yourself, thinking, wow, you know what? I got some pop. It takes you out of your game.
Hughes again has the Royals on the defensive, down 0-2. There's a nice shot to right field. Well done.
Okay, that's the Escobar that Ned Yost wants to see from that leadoff spot. Staying short. Look at how wide his base is. He just lifts up his front foot, okay? And then his head position's always good, and he's making contact back of the plate to go to right field. That's what they want to see. Ball was down. Perfect swing.
Good speed on, and you can see Lorenzo Cain's left arm heavily wrapped now after he got drilled in the forearm by Hughes back in inning number 3.
That's a sleeve with a little bit of padding on it there. Keep it warm.
Escobar 7 for 7 stealing bases this year. Joe Girardi really likes Chris Stewart. He said he's tough to run on, a smart catcher.
Told you his numbers earlier. He's throwing out 45.5% of runners. Anything over 30 is good.
And there's a base hit to right field. Escobar turns second on his way to third. Throw by Ichiro cut off. First and third for Kansas City.
Hey, Escobar wasn't sure if he was going to challenge Ichiro's arm or not. He kind of hesitated at second base, but he made the right decision. Ball wasn't hit real hard, so a good runner can advance to third on that. Ball inside, good inside-out swing. Watch Escobar. He'll kind of slow down a little bit. Well, okay, I'll go. That's a good decision with Gordon up. You got first and third, a chance to get a couple closer.
And now you have one of baseball's best in the clutch coming up. Alex Gordon was second to Miguel Cabrera with runners in scoring position coming into tonight's game. 14 for 29. I think Cabrera's 5.33 is better. Well, left field. Wells back. It is over his head. In comes Escobar. Here comes Cain with the tying run. We are locked up at 5.
That's why Ned Yost moved in that third spot. Run production. Drive those runs in while you're at it. Drive the bus. And he hit it right where it's pitched. Really solid contact. Got up underneath it. Vernon Wells almost got to it. A good break by Vernon Wells. Still ball hit with some authority. And it was slicing on him. That's a great camera angle there.
What a great at-bat by Alex Gordon, Rex. He was basically just trying to get Escobar in from third.
When Lorenzo Cain, he almost fell down in between second and third. But here come the hard-charging Royals, looking for their 13th comeback victory.
Gordon had 51 doubles last year. He has 7. Here's Billy Butler, who's been chomping at the bit to knock in a run. He has 19 RBIs this year, but 7 came in one game against Philadelphia in early April. Strike 1. Go ahead and get number 500, Billy. Block of the plate by Chris Stewart. Nuno, who hails from Baker University here in Kansas. He's the left-hander warming in the New York pen as the Royals have roared back from 4 runs down to tie the game at 5. Hit sharply at third. Nelson throws out Butler. No advance by Gordon. 2 outs.
Really having a hard time hitting them where they aim. He's hitting a lot of out of balls. Again, the Royals showing why they're tops in the American League with runners in scoring position. They're making it happen. Hosmer is hitting .261 with a runner at second and beyond.
I asked Andre David before the ball game, one of the Royals' 2 hitting instructors, why Hosmer's success has picked up, and he said he's letting the ball get deeper. He's seeing it really well. And he pulls that one to the right side. This will end it, but Gordon ties it. Alex Gordon gets a pitch and nails it to left field to score Escobar and Kane, who had singled prior to. It's a 5-5 game going to the 6th.
Astros up. The Angels would go on to win this game. They bring in reliever Wesley Wright. Bo Porter does. He throws his warm-up tosses, and then he says, you know what? I'm going to go to Hector Ambrose. And Mike Scioscia comes out and argues because, this is, some rules, guys, you have to look them up and you say, well, what is that? But this one, I think we've all known since we were about 10 years old. Rule 3.05b states that a pitcher inserted into the game must face at least one batter unless an injury or an illness prevents him from doing so, and that's the umpire's judgment. He wasn't sick. Bo Porter, the first-year manager, just decided to make the switch based on a pinch hitter. There's the full, complete rule there, but I think we've all known this one for a very long time. Mike Scioscia came out, protested, and we heard today that had the Angels lost that game, that protest would have been upheld as Ichiro in the right field. He's going to try for 2.
And he will make it with the leadoff double, so Wade Davis is going to have to wiggle out of a jam again. Brett Gardner led off the 5th inning with a double but did not score, and now Davis continues to be plagued by elevating the baseball.
Yeah, and back to your point, Joel, that
so
it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, and let me update this too. Joe Torre today saying umpires are the custodians of the game. He felt that crew chief Fielding Colberth, who's a first-year chief but in the league 16 years, made a mental mistake. Fielding Colberth was suspended today for 2 games. We don't hear that too often. This coming the night after the Angel Hernandez gaffe, but this one, 4 umpires and a manager didn't know the rule.
But Mike Scioscia had it there, and he told them what the rule was, and they still, it's almost like they didn't believe him.
Well, to me, it's shocking that those umpires, and look, there's some really intricate rules in the game, but this is a very basic one for 4 umpires not to know it. And, it's an embarrassment, HUD, to the league that this would happen. And Fielding Colberth and Brian Onora, two veteran umpires on that crew that both umpired the World Series last year, Hud.
Yeah, you know, Joel, sometimes in the game, you caught up in the moment. They're human. They're going to make some mistakes, but I've never seen Major League Baseball suspend an umpire for not knowing a rule. So it's interesting that they're holding these guys accountable, and I think they should. I mean, the players that play out here are held accountable for their performances, and if they don't perform, they're not in a big league uniform. So you know, it's interesting how Major League Baseball came down on that.
But my thinking is, if this happened in this game right now, and Ned Yost comes running out to protest, we wouldn't need to look anything up. Wouldn't all of us and pretty much everybody at home already know that?
Base hit center field. They're going to have to hold Ichiro. First and third with nobody out.
Well, if the umpires didn't know that, there's some other people out there that didn't know it either.
But you would know it if you saw it, right?
You would hope so, yeah. I mean, you know, he's got to throw to a batter.
Well, Mike Scioscia caught it immediately, and I could almost read his lips where he's saying he has to throw one pitch or a runner has to be put out on one of the bases or an illness or an injury. And when I first heard it, Hud, I thought, well, maybe the pitcher was injured or hurt, because we were doing the game on radio last night in Baltimore when we heard the information go, the guy must have been hurt, but this was rather dramatic. This is the Chevy call to the bullpen. It's Bruce Chen coming on to replace Wade Davis. Thoroughbred Ford for the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks. Visit thoroughbredford.com today. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with you, and Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery. The new pitcher, Bruce Chen, is pitching in his 7th game. He has not allowed an earned run yet, but he comes in a dire situation facing Lyle Overbay, and Bruce throws him strike one. What he'd love to do is strike this guy out and then get the double play. You have two fast guys on with Ichiro at third and Nix at first, and Overbay, who has homered and doubled tonight. Wow, he has had some kind of game and hits it off the wall. Ichiro will score easily. Overbay into second base with his second double of the night. 6-5 New York. Who is this guy, and why was he on the walking list before the season began?
Well, he's always been a polished hitter. I mean, he's got a lot left. Obviously, he doesn't do a whole lot with his body, just through his hands. Bruce went back-to-back curveballs on him. You get the first one over for a curve, lots of times they'll throw it again, and he waited on it. Broke right over the middle of the plate. And now Ned's going to play his infield halfway. Give him a little more range. Any ball to the left or right.
Nelson takes strike one.
Bruce retired 6 straight hitters after entering the 7th inning on Wednesday in Baltimore.
But it's not often you see a guy who has given you so much. Was a late addition. He was signed to a minor league contract on March 26th and has been remarkable for the Yankees. He's driven in 4 of his team's 6 runs tonight.
Overbay.
Yeah. Here's Nelson with a gapper. This will plate at least 1, maybe 2. And it will plate 2, and New York goes up by 3.
The second run that scored was Bruce's first earned run of the season he's given up. Right now, you wonder on 2 days rest how Bruce is. Now he's not a power pitcher, so it's not going to affect his velocity at all. But Ned had him up an inning before Davis was taken out. Threw a lot of pitches, and he was standing out there ready to go. Then he sat back down and then had to get back up again. So it's all new for Bruce.
Here is Chris Stewart.
Put you down to that bullpen.
Ground ball is second. Johnson gets it to Escobar. 1. They have no chance to get Stewart, but they do get the lead runner. Royals had just come back to tie it on Gordon's double to left field. Now their pitching staff gives up 3 in the 6th inning.
They just get the sure out. That's what they do. Now you try to roll a pair, although Gardner runs well. He has ground into 4 double plays this year, though.
Strike 1. Yankees have won 2 straight. They won yesterday over Colorado 3-1. Way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tomorrow night, James Shields will match up against Andy Pettit. Sunday afternoon, Santana against Kuroda. That ball is placed well. Dyson off to the races. Won't get there. Wow. This New York team just stepping on Kansas City's neck here in the 6th inning. It is a triple for Brett Gardner, and it is now a 9-5 Yankee lead.
Hey, Gerard Dyson looked like he was playing him to pull a little bit, and he was shallow. And looks like he didn't take the perfect angle to get to that ball.
So the Royals, who've been staying in games this year because of their great pitching, have seen anything but that tonight as their starter Wade Davis gives up 7 runs in 5+ innings, and Bruce Chen has not helped himself out, allowing his first earned runs of the year. And here's Robinson Cano, who is 0 for 3 with a fly out and 2 pop-ups. Strike 1. New York won 95 games last year. Finished 2 games better than the Orioles, who won the wild card. The Texas Rangers.
See the outfield. Dyson's pretty shallow. So is Gordon.
Base hit. It's 10-5 Yankees as Gardner checks in.
Hey, Cano wasn't trying to do too much there. He just is looking to find a hole. They're pitching him away. I'll hit it away. The Yankees are finding holes all over the diamond this inning.
First time the Royals have given up 10 runs in a ball game since they lost game 2 of that doubleheader to Cleveland on that last homestand. It has been a nightmarish 6th inning for Kansas City, and that was their heaven offensively in the last homestand. They did so much damage in the 6th inning, but a double, a single, a double, a single. Fielder's choice, a triple, and now a single. And that one shot to left. Gordon will run this one down. That's the second out. The Royal pitching has not fooled any Yankee in this 6th.
Hafner's the 9th batter come to the plate in this inning for the Yanks.
Ball 1. He gets a strike across, and it's a 1-1 count. And the Yankees certainly have been winning HUD on timely hitting, but tremendous pitching. They have not received it tonight by Phil Hughes, but it's usually been Sabathia, Hughes, Kuroda, Pettit, keeping teams runs down. And the Yankees have come up with clutch hit after clutch hit all year long to provide 20 wins against 13 losses. They had a great staff last year that has continued things this year. I mean, they set a franchise record with 1,318 strikeouts last season, and also walked the fewest in the American League. Slider misses low and outside as Cano took second base. That will be a steal, his 2nd of the year.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to even try to get him. Salvi was concentrating on holding that pitch, hoping he could catch the corner.
A 3-2 count to the patient Hafner.
Yep, he's not budging. They're trying to get him to swing off the plate there with a big breaking ball.
JC Gutierrez starting to warm in the Kansas City pen. It's been quite some time before JC saw some action. His last outing was 12 days ago. Hafner chops it at the plate. Royals have had so many strong starts this year, and you're almost surprised when a starter doesn't go 6, doesn't give up 3 or less. Guthrie, another strong game. He had gone 17 2/3 innings before finally allowing a run. Only 1 earned run in last night's game. Royals won it 6-2 to Baltimore. Hafner finally does strike out. And a terrible 6th inning finally ends for Kansas City. And when it does, they trail the Yankees by 5. sixth inning of play for Kansas City, and our AT&T trivia question: who is the Yankees' all-time home run leader at Kauffman Stadium? We will give you the answer later in the game. They had some good ones who played against the Royals in the past. Reggie Jackson had some fine seasons for New York against Kansas City. Here we go. Phil Hughes facing Salvador Perez on his 23rd birthday, and Salvi tonight has singled. He's also flied out. He hit one to right field last night, Rex, that almost looked like it was a parachute landing beyond the first and second baseman.
Yeah, nice little lob shot. You'll take those all day.
That ball's fouled off. Andre David, his hitting instructor, he said you've got to have a good mind to be a good hitter. And Andre said the mind is like a parachute. It has to be open to work. There's Andre on the left. On the right is Chino Carajilla, bench coach. And that ball is blooped to left, but Nix had him played perfectly, and one out. The sixth inning is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Barbara Lane from Oak Grove, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Barbara will win $200. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Barbara will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Mike Moustakas takes a curveball, strike one, so Hughes has a chance to gain his second win of the year. He's had a lot of no decisions, even though he's pitched awfully well. He had 2 bad starts to open the season, and then 4 great starts since, until tonight when he has given up 5. 3-run home run to Dyson in the second, and a big double by Gordon in the 5th that at that time shored the game, tied the game for a very short time. I remember when this young man came up at the age of 20, and his catcher was Jorge Posada, real leader, and he loved the kid. There's a drive to deep right field, and Moustakas has gone deep for 3 straight games. So how about that, Barbara Lane? You've got yourself $200.
Sonic Slam's been hit. Hughes tried to quick pitch Moose. Right before he threw that last pitch, Moose stepped out of the box and reloaded. Took that high fastball he's been trying to get by Moose all night. So there's a good example of the previous at-bats. Hughes been trying to get that high fastball by Moose, and it worked the first time. But Moose went up there now saying, all right, I'm gonna look for it. And when you're hot like Moose is, second consecutive night with a home run, you're going to catch those.
He hit one on Wednesday off Chris Tillman into right field out of Camden Yards, and then last night at lefty McFarland tried to sneak a first pitch past him, and he just rode it out.
Yeah, and that was on a little breaking ball. But look at him, he's taken back just a little bit. Takes his swing back some. He's loading. And there's that uppercut swing. On a high pitch, it's already elevated for him.
He has 4. Royals within 4. Elliott Johnson up. Tries to bunt. And a curveball passes by and gets strike 1.
It's not a bad idea. Some runners out there.
You know, to finish that thought on what Jorge Posada was talking about Phil Hughes, he said when he was young, and he's talking 20 years old, 21 years old, his rookie season, Jorge really thought he was hungry. There's a strike 3 called on the inside corner, beautifully thrown by Phil.
He wants a high fastball. Inner half. Too close to take.
Now Dyson, who is 1 for 2, a 3-run home run. back in inning number 2, and Stewart goes out for a visit as the New York pen continues to work in this inning. Okay, you miss with the high heater back in the second. You got him to fly out, and now Girardi coming out, and that was all it was about, giving him more time to warm up that bullpen. So Phil Hughes' evening is over. Looked like Girardi wanted the right-hander. He had a couple down there warming up.
Not one of his better outings, but run support to the rescue.
You get 10 runs, you're going to win a lot of ball games. Hey fans, the MLB.com At Bat app is the only source for live baseball everywhere you go. At Bat delivers Royals baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, breaking news, and video highlights. Download At Bat now on your app store or text At Bat to 31826. The new pitcher is Sean Kelly, and you can see his strikeouts to walks very good, but he has allowed a few runs, 7.3 earned run average in 11 games. And he comes on to face Dyson in the bottom of the 6th.
He's got a heavy sinking fastball. Slider's his out pitch. It's kind of a slurvy slider. It's a little bit bigger than a slider break.
At 92, Dyson takes it outside.
Okay, get a few runners on. Do what they've been doing in Baltimore tonight. Pop one out of here. Get right back in it.
Royals do have 12 comeback wins this year, but Dyson doesn't help himself by striking out. And that is the 6th inning in Kansas City. We head to the 7th. KC down by 4. And by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. Here at Kauffman Stadium, New York with a 4-run lead as we head to the 7th inning of play, and Ichiro Suzuki will lead things off. He has homered and doubled in this game, scored a couple and driven in a couple. Takes strike one from Bruce Chen as Wade Davis got the start, gave up 7 runs in 5+ innings. Bruce gave up the rest, almost hits Ichiro, who dances out of the way. Ground ball third. Moustakas has it. Quick toss. Got him. Nice play.
Ichiro's made a great living slapping that ball like that. Even at his age, he still runs well. On the left side of the box, sees the third baseman in. He just likes to slap balls by him. Moose is able to catch it on the rebound. Didn't glove it at first, but kept it right in front of him.
Now it is Jason Nix, who's had a heck of a game, taking over for Nunez, who is still not ready because of an oblique strain.
Let's take another look at Moose. Keep the ball in front of you. He'll go to his glove right here. He'll tap it. Watch this. Tap it to get the feet in line.
Bottom of the order has really hurt the Royals in this one. 5 through 9. They have 9 of the 11 hits, and that one comes too far inside. And Nix will be on first base. So they just can't get this guy out. He is 2 for 2 as a hitter, and he's walked twice and scored 3 runs. Let's answer our trivia question. Who is the Yankees' all-time home run leader at Kauffman Stadium?
I'm going to go Alex Rodriguez.
How about Jeter? Paul O'Neill. 12 home runs at the K. He usually is one of the Yankee broadcasters, but they have like a merry-go-round of broadcasters, and one of our local guys is in the broadcast booth tonight. Pride of Rockhurst High School, David Cohn. Ball is popped up left side. Moustakas says he wants it, and he'll take it for out number 2. Rex, I was talking with Joe Girardi about who he loved to catch, and he said David Cohn, because he said he was awesome to catch. He said he'd drop down and throw a split finger from the side. He said he always had a great idea of what he wanted to do and how he would execute from game to game. And so many times it would change from game to game, and that's why it really stimulated Joe's mind.
He was great. He was on our pregame show today, David Cohn.
What'd you guys talk about?
It was Joel's interview, not mine.
Well, you can at least give our friends some insight.
He called Monty the greatest teammate he ever had.
He would not call him the greatest closer because he also had a chance to play with Mariano Rivera. Here comes J.C. Gutierrez. And they're looking to collect in all 3 of the Hot Dog Derby bobbleheads this summer. The new Bobble Dog Bundle ticket package is the best way to get your seat to the ketchup, mustard, and relish bobblehead games, all at discount. The package starts at just $33, so get your bundle today at Royals.com/hotdogderby or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Really cool looking. J.C. Gutierrez takes over for Kansas City. 7th game. Haven't seen much action of late. His last outing was 12 days ago when he pitched 2 innings in the 2nd game against Cleveland.
He's got a good fastball, 2-seamer and a 4-seamer. He'll sink it. He can get that ball up there in the mid-90s and better. He's got a nice big curveball that he uses. So his rhythm and timing may be affected. I mean, obviously, when you don't pitch that long, I mean, it's been a long time. You're going to be off a little bit, but let's see how he does. He understands his role. He's been working hard, staying fresh, throwing bullpens, and that's all you can do is throw bullpens and throw on flat ground. But that's totally different when a hitter gets in the box. He's got a very good attitude.
Good breaking ball, and he strikes out Chris Nelson. So JC does his job. Bottom 7 we go. Escobar, Kane, Gordon coming up.
Cools down red hot Cleveland. Cabrera and Fielder both go deep. Scherzer with the win to go to 5-0. Boston behind John Lester all over Toronto. Tampa Bay and San Diego. Tampa up in that one. Got a couple interesting notes from it. Chicago and LA in a slugfest. Pujols and Trumbo adding to their RBI totals. Minnesota 6-5 over Baltimore. And Texas right now beating Houston. Our Mazda game break takes a look at the big boys. Prince Fielder, number 9 on the season. And then Miguel Cabrera, what a 1-2 punch. That was his 7th on the year. All right, listen to this, guys. I love in baseball because you never know what you're going to see at the park. First off, in that San Diego-Tampa game, Alex Cobb had 13 strikeouts and 2 walks in 4 2/3 innings. He's the first pitcher in baseball history to have 13 or more strikeouts in less than 5 innings. 117 pitches in 4 2/3. As a matter of fact, the last pitcher to have 10 strikeouts, just double-digit strikeouts in less than 5 innings, was Rick Ankiel in 2000. But this one is also interesting. San Diego put up a run in the 3rd inning without scoring a hit and striking out 4 times. Strikeout. Will Venable struck out, but it was a wild pitch. He got to first. Then the next batter struck out, and he stole second on that strikeout. Then he stole third. Then there was another strikeout for the second out. Then there was a balk to bring him in, and then the last batter struck out.
Wow. As the game turns, you just never know.
13 strikeouts in less than 5 innings.
Unbelievable.
I can't even. And you'd think it would be like Roger Clemens or Randy Johnson, but Alex Cobb, who has good stuff, but holy smokes.
Strikeouts are up.
They are right now with Sean Kelly striking out Alcides Escobar.
Kelly went with a lot of off-speed pitches there. 2 of them were 3 feet in front of home plate that bounced. Wasn't going to give Esky anything straight.
Fox Sports Kansas City will also have tomorrow's game 2. James Shields against Andy Pettit. Sunday afternoon, Santana against Kuroda. Hope to see you here at the ballpark, but if you can't make it, check us out on Fox Sports Kansas City. Here's Lorenzo Cain. He fouls back. His second pitch and is down in the count, 0-2.
Lorenzo Cain got drilled his first time up right off his forearm. Went in, got a little love, got a little wrap on there. It's a sleeve. Helps keep it warm.
Outside.
Phil Hughes on an 0-2 pitch. Just pulled that hand back in just in time.
And the at-bat after that, he singled and would come around and score on Alex Gordon's double. Checked in time, and the count is full 3-2. They love to keep things going at the middle of the order, coming up with Gordon, Butler, and Hosmer. Inch a little closer to New York.
Peck away like they always do.
Just barely got underneath that baseball, and it clipped off the glove of Chris Stewart. Kelly was acquired by the Yankees from Seattle on February 13th in exchange for an outfielder, Abraham Almonte. Not sure if he's related to Danny. Here's the pitch and a good fastball at 93. That was not a strike, and Cain swings at a bad pitch. Well, Kelly's faced 3. He has struck out 3.
Yep, using that sinking fastball to get ahead, finishing him off with that big slurvy curve he's got.
He now has 21 strikeouts, Rex, in only 13 1/3 innings.
He's got good stuff.
Sure does. Gordon singled his first time up, doubled in 2. You saw that batting average has climbed to .324. He was 11th before the game started. Those in front of him were Johnny Peralta of Detroit at .317. Adam Jones of Baltimore. And Cain and Kinsler at .324. He now is at that mark. He's gone in front of his teammate Lorenzo. Kelly has him down 1-2.
Alex Gordon, excuse me, is not a secret anymore. People know him, especially around the league. Hopefully the fans will also recognize that and vote him in for the All-Star game coming up.
Swing and a miss. Kelly has faced 4 Royals and struck all of them out. Blue Crew, brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. Members receive a gray batting practice jersey, Royals hat, blue wristbands, ticket vouchers, priority access for the Sunday fun run, and much more. Membership is just $25. Be a part of the fun all year long by joining at Royals.com/Blue Crew. Yankees lead game one of this three-game series by a score of 10-6. New York jumped on Wade Davis in the second for 4 runs. Home runs by Suzuki and Overbay. Chris Stewart has scored a run, reaching on a fielder's choice. So 2 big innings by New York, that 4-run second and a 5-run sixth, and that was after the Royals had tied the game at 5. But Ned Yost stayed with Wade Davis, who came out in the 6th, and Ichiro nailed him for a double. And Nick singled. Chen came on and could not throw water on the fire.
It's all right, but I'm happy J.C. Gutierrez is in there. He's getting some time, man. This hadn't pitched in a long time. Fastball got a lot of movement on it. He's strong. That's a hard-born, heavy sinker at 95. You could throw that pitch every time up if you locate it properly. He was going to hit that in the ground.
Well, he had a splendid winter. He was named Venezuela Winter League Reliever of the Year this past offseason when he's finally healthy after suffering Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago. That ball stroked to left field. One hopper to Alex Gordon. So Stewart is on for the second time, and New York continues to shine offensively. They now have 10 runs on 12 hits. The Royals with 6 runs on 7.
That's waiting for a curveball to come down. Hung up there a little bit. Short, quick swing by Stewart.
Here's Brett Gardner. Royals were able to solve him his first 2 times up with a ground out and strikeout, but the last 2 times up, a double and a triple. And he takes strike 1, and Brett goes, that looked outside. The Royals with 12 comebacks, but they need to keep New York quiet, and they have 6 outs to go. Butler, Hosmer, Perez in the last of this 8th inning. Has him down 0-2.
This is exactly what they want to see from Gutierrez, getting ahead of guys. You haven't pitched that long, it's hard to find command. This is what you do when you get an opportunity. You want a more prominent role in that bullpen, you do what he's doing. You throw strikes.
Heater up, not up enough. Gardner couldn't do much with it, but did foul it off. New York trying to get back to the playoffs. A lot of people not sure if they will with all the injuries and age that they have on the team. They've done it so far. They played 33 games and they've won 20 of them, and on a 3-way tie with Baltimore and Boston coming into this affair. Fouled it off Salvador. One and two. In there, strike 3 call.
Man, that's firm. Gardner didn't look too comfortable, and he had a couple of words for Mike Winters before he walked off. Look at that run on that fastball. That's a really good pitch. It's called a two-seam fastball with some sink to it. You can see the way he was on top of that ball with his two fingers on the seams.
Cano is 1 for 4 last time up with the infield drawn in. He shot one past Moustakas at third, and that knocked in the final run of the 5-run 6th inning. Yankees sent 9 men to the plate in that 5-run 6th. They sent 7 to the plate in the second when they scored 4 runs on 2 2-run home runs by Suzuki and Overbay. Overbay has absolutely killed them tonight. One ball, one strike. Yankees had everything going last year, and they were able to win 95 and just keep Baltimore at bay. But then Joe Girardi, when they got to the American League Division Series, they had to face Detroit, and Detroit had every pitcher working incredibly well. One is pop foul back and out of play. The Yanks were shut out for 36 straight innings by Detroit pitching, whether it was Verlander or Pfister or Scherzer.
They were tough.
And then, Rex, when I saw that ALDS, I thought the way Detroit was rolling, that they were going to steamroll San Francisco, and the Giants swept them in 4.
Yep.
Go figure. They got Verlander in game 1, knocked him around. And quite frankly, I think it's because the Tigers had too much time off.
And don't forget,
there's a base hit, his second of the night.
Jeter broke his leg too.
Yeah.
Okay, that really took the wind out of the Yankees' sails.
Their heart and soul was taken from them. Boy, did they bounce back this year, despite all the injuries they suffered, and they had a chance to hang their heads. And then Brian Cashman jumps out of an airplane and lands incorrectly with his parachute, and he breaks a leg, and you go, well, this can't be their year.
But you go out and try to find players that fit. Make a deal. Get Vernon Wells. Now they had hired, and they had already signed Travis Hafner in the offseason. So he was a guy they had before all these injuries started happening, and then Shera went down. They found out A-Rod was not going to be healthy.
Here's the one guy who has not been able to get on base tonight. Vernon Wells is 0 for 4. 3 ground outs, 1 fly out. And Wells was basically given by the Angels to New York. I mean, the Angels still paying the majority of his contract. But he's been wonderful in the clubhouse. Great leadership. And then offensively, he's done the job. Well, that belt high fastball back. Vernon now 34 years of age. Terrific high school football and baseball player. His daddy actually played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and now a very talented artist.
A lot of talent in that family. A lot of money too. Gutierrez is going to try to get Vernon to hit a nice little 2-hopper to Escobar. Roll a pair, get out of it.
Out of play. They will try it again on 1 ball and 2 strikes. They do have an aging roster, though. Only Houston has a younger lineup than Kansas City's lineup. New York, both their pitching staff and their offense, is the oldest in baseball. Position players average 32 years of age. Pitchers 32 and a half. But you win with pitching, and that guy slams the door shut every single night out, despite the injury that he suffered against Kansas City last year, shagging fly balls. He has come back. He said this will be his final year. He is 13 for 13 saving games at the age of 43.
Gutierrez don't want to lose Vernon Wells here. Mariano is cool as a cucumber.
And Rex, you know, you can replace some players. Baseball always moves on.
Yep.
But how do you replace the greatest closer of all time?
Someone else will step in there.
Well, yeah, but
what else can you do?
It'll likely be Dave Robertson, I'm guessing, among the New York. Because Mariano is a man of his word, and they might try to talk him back to come back for next season. But I don't think so. And neither does Ken Singleton, Yankees broadcaster we talked with tonight. He said, you know, he is a man of his word, and when he says he's going to do something, he does it. Out of play.
Yeah, the comments Mariano Rivera made. He's always a very classy guy. He said that one of the doctors rode in an ambulance with him to the hospital. He said when he came back to Kansas City, he wanted to spend some time with that doctor, take him to lunch, thank him for the encouragement that he was giving him.
In the air, deep to center field. Dyson races to left center. Just in front of the warning track, is able to pull it down. Tagging at second and moving along is Chris Stewart. So it's first and third.
Gutierrez can get through Travis Hafner here. That's some really good pitching out of a guy who hadn't pitched in 16 games. That was 12 games. Still a lot.
12 days ago, I should say.
Yeah, 27 total pitches, 20 for strikes.
Travis Hafner walked in front of Ichiro Suzuki's home run back in the second. Since that time, a ground out, a line out, strikeout. Got away from him. James Shields tomorrow night against Andy Pettitte. Fans, you'll want to be here for that one. Shields has been rock solid, and Andy Pettitte, one of the great pitchers in the history of the Yankee organization, will go for New York. James Shields has been incredible, and Rex, we see him every single day. We see his moxie, his makeup, and James is one of those people who takes his job seriously, but not himself. And you were telling me, because you've been in so many clubhouses in your career, and we sit next to each other in the airplane, and James gets on the intercom last night as we're flying back from Baltimore to Kansas City, and he says, everybody take your headphones off. I've got something to say. Escobar, fine play, throws him out. That's the end of the inning, but James Shields just said, I want everybody to give an ovation to Salvi Perez and George Gutierrez because it's their birthday. Good times ahead.
Moose jumped on 2 Oriole pitchers as he hit home runs in 2 games, and now he hooked the pole there. He went deep again today. The 3rd game in a row he's gone deep. Moose is heating up. 364 average in the last 11 games. Moose is loose. He's on the rise.
Billy Butler will lead things off. Billy 0 for 3, robbed of a hit, a smash that he hit to Nelson at third. A little bit low. Billy, of course, represented the Royals last year in the All-Star game. He still is humbled by the great ovation he received by the Royal fans. And a good slider thrown by Sean Kelly. Kelly, fans, has faced 4 Royals in this game. He has struck all of them out. This is a guy with exceptional stuff, and he certainly has his great command tonight. In there, strike 3 call. He now has 23 strikeouts this year in 14 innings.
Yep, he's dotting the corners. Not much you can do on that. Maybe just foul it off.
Well, this is the recipe for success that New York has done this year. They've always had very good starting pitching. Their bullpen has been rock solid. And now Eric Hosmer steps up. Hosmer has been on once with a walk, and he scored in the home run by Dyson back in the 2nd. Flied out to center and grounded out to first. That's low. 2 balls and no strike. A rare 2-0 count by Kelly. I mean, this New York bullpen, you look down and you see Logan with an ERA of 3. Mariano Rivera 1.88. Robertson 3.2. Warren 1.8. When they get the lead, they have been slamming the door shut on opponents. In there, 3-1.
Boy, that fastball is just sneaky. Kind of short arms it in there.
Hosmer still has a chance at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Nice to see the folks come out here at the K. Good crowd.
Come on out tomorrow night. Shields against Pettit. 6 o'clock start Sunday afternoon. Santana against Kuroda, and then we go on the road for a long time. 3 different cities: Anaheim, Oakland, and Houston. To the right side, nice big hop covering is Kelly, and he has been sensational in his two innings of work. Now Perez will come up with 2 outs. Detroit did beat Cleveland. They'll hold on to first place in the American League Central. Cleveland will not be able to overtake Kansas City for second place in the Central. Detroit won 10-4, and Cabrera and Fielder each hit home runs. They've combined for 16 for the Tigers. Cleveland had been so hot, winners of 10 of their previous 11 games, and on a power surge. It seems like, Rex, I look down and the Indians hit 3 or 4 home runs every single game.
Got some boppers. They went out and got some heavy hitters. Swisher, one of them.
In there, and Salvador Perez strikes out. So 6 strikeouts of the 7 batters that Kelly faces.
Woo, he's good.
City takes on Wigan Athletic in one match for England's most storied trophy. The FA Cup final is Saturday at 11 in the morning only on Fox. Ichiro Suzuki will lead things off for the Yankees in the top of the 9th inning. He has a home run and a double tonight. Scored a couple and driven in 2. Batting average up to 275. Man, was this guy a 200 hit machine every single season.
Nice. Use that speed. When he falls out of that batter's box, he slaps at it. It's like that.
So let's say you're Joe Girardi. Granderson comes back. How do you shuffle their outfield?
I'm going to go with a hot hand. Granderson might have to play some right field. Gardner's been playing really good in center. But Ichiro or someone's going to have to go to the bench.
Ichiro has his 3rd hit of the night.
Vernon Wells swinging a good bat. I mean, he hasn't exactly connected here in this one, but hard to take Vernon Wells out of that lineup.
And Rex, he has really handled publicity well. You and I remember when he first came up with the Seattle Mariners a decade ago, and the curiosity not only by the American media, but there were like 200 members of the Japanese media that followed him around every single spring training game.
He's a great player.
He goes, the throw, not in time, a steal for Suzuki. It's number 5 this year.
And, Ichiro, he's reached 20 stolen bases in each of his first 12 Major League seasons, joining Ricky Henderson, Ozzie Smith, as the only 3 players in the live ball era to accomplish the feat. 20 stolen bases every year. Look at it. Keeps himself in tremendous shape. He might be the most flexible player there is in baseball. He's always stretching. He's in the on-deck circle before each at bat. He's always stretching. See, got that foot in there. See him in the outfield in between pitches, stretching. Always very flexible.
Doing sun salutations.
He's whatever you want to call it, Biz. Namaste.
A swing and a miss and a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And Jason Nix is out for the first time tonight after a pair of walks and a pair of hits. I remember when Ichiro came up in his first spring training, Rex. with Seattle. He hit about 270 during spring training, and there are a lot of scouts saying he'll never do it. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. He doesn't hit the fastball. He's used to the 91-mile-an-hour fastball in Japan. Wait until he sees the 95-mile-an-hour cheese. Well, his first year, he hit 350 and had 242 hits. So he solved that question rather quickly. Rookie of the Year, MVP. Is the all-time record with 262 hits. He did that in the 2004 season, hitting 372.
Ned Yost's got to be pretty pleased with J.C. Gutierrez's work. He's mixing up good, heavy, sinking fastballs with big curve involved.
Overbay 3 for 4, a 2-run home run, double that drove in a run, and doubled in another in the 6th, so a 4 RBI game for Lyle Overbay, who is likely the star of the night for New York.
This is his 11th season in the big leagues. Came in this year, 318 doubles in his career.
Up the middle, that's a base hit. Suzuki will come around to score. Ball gets by Dyson, but Overbay staying put at first base. It's 11-6 New York. Well, without a doubt, he is our forward player of the game. 5 RBIs for Lyle Overbay. He's knocked in a run on all 4 of his hits.
Yeah, he's been locked in. And when you get that home run early, that'll help you. Hit that ball opposite field. Dyson ran a long way to hit the base of the wall. He hits one over Lorenzo Cain's head.
Now Chris Nelson, who takes a fastball up and in. Base hit. JC, nobody's up in the bullpen. This game is yours. 2 more outs and let the Royals have a final chance in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Chris Stewart, who's been on twice with the fielder's choice and scored a run, and singled in his last time up. Strike 1. Tickets available for tomorrow night's 6 o'clock show. James Shields, Andy Pettitte. And that could be a classic. We always expect it when you say names like Shields and Pettitte. We shall see. Kansas City still not hitting on all cylinders, and Andy now at the age of 40. He continues to be a bulldog and a leader in that rotation. Ooh. Looks like it caught the inside corner, but not called by home plate umpire Mike Winters.
Good spot.
$16 hits for New York tonight, 7 for KC. Yanks by 5, and there's the pitch, and it is fouled back. Well, it's a KU fan, HUD. Wow. A K-State Wildcat would have caught that.
My goodness. Right to him.
On his hands.
Okay, now you throw a little breaking ball here. Get him out, leaning out over. Do a little double play. It'd be nice for JC.
Three and two. Luke Hochevar started warm in the Kansas City bullpen. Gutierrez might be running out of gas. He's thrown 48 pitches in this game after not pitching in 12 days. Lined out to Escobar, 2 gone. There is Hochevar just in case Gutierrez cannot get this final out, and it is Brett Gardner, who is 2 for 5 in the game with a double and a triple, who's driven in a run and scored a run. To Hosmer, that should end it. Gives it up to Gutierrez, and he just does get there in time, and the inning is over, or the half inning is over. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Moustakas, Johnson, and Dyson for Kansas City. Inning. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. Could be Mike Moustakas this month, the way he is swinging the bat. He has homered in each of his last 3 games. Boone Logan comes out of the Yankee bullpen with a 3 earned run average.
Get Sean Kelly out of there, man. I'm glad they got him out. Wow, Royals couldn't do anything. Hosmer is the only one who made contact on him. So Boone Logan, he's got a fastball, a slider. It's not overpowering. A little different arm angle. Moose homered last night off a lefty. He's on the rise. He's got confidence going now. He's shortened up his swing. He's using his hands. Average is on the way up. Production is too. It's good to see that. Moose and Hosmer, and you got to get Billy Butler going somehow.
First pitch by Logan way upstairs. So Moose has struck out, walked, and homered. Now has 4 homers. Skies one to right. Ichiro, man, he was climbing the wall. How about that? Like Spider-Man.
Great effort. He sees where he is. He's going to use that wall. Going to jump up on it. And look, that ball was coming back a little bit. It's a long fall down, too, right there. He came down and appreciate that effort.
Moose hit one off a lefty yesterday, and this time he pops it up. So short. Nix will take care of him, one down. A reminder that Boulevard Postgame Live will be coming your way. Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery. New York with 11 runs on 16 hits. The Royals with 6 on 7. Miguel Tejada will pinch hit for Elliott Johnson.
Tejada 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter off of Ned's bench this year.
And as you might imagine, Miguel Tejada, a seasoned veteran, he has by far the most at bats of any Kansas City Royal against the Yankees. 539 at bats, 17 home runs, 95 driven in. Fouled off.
Yep, he's had a great career. And he's not done. He's got plenty of playing left. We've been watching him all year, and Ned's going with him when the matchups are right.
I love how he has a conversation with himself every single at bat.
He's got to start at third, at second, and one at first.
Three and 2. Royals came in at 18 and 13, a half game back of Detroit. Detroit was able to take care of Cleveland by a final of 10-4. Chicago White Sox trailing the Angels 7-5 in the 8th. And he strikes him out on a good slider. So the Royals down to their final out, and they will take out Dyson and bring on Jeff Francoeur to have him face the left-hander Logan.
This will be Frenchie's first at bat as a pinch hitter this year.
I would imagine he'll be back in that starting lineup tomorrow when the left-hander goes for the Yanks and Andy Pettitte. Right now the Royals have been going with a little bit of a rotation at second base with Chris Getz, Miguel Tejada at times, and Elliott Johnson a lot recently. Ball is struck foul. And Rex, those two positions, shortstop and second base, is it difficult to have a lack of consistency defensively?
Nah, nothing's going to bother Escobar. Now, when you're playing for a manager that's going with a hot hand, you get in there, you take that baton and you run with it. You do all you can to stay in that lineup. You got to bunt, get on base, make the plays. Competition's on.
Getz, during batting practice, was taking ground balls not only at second but also shortstop. Not that he'll play there, but he has in his collegiate past. Only a second baseman in the pros. Struck foul. Yankees at 20 and 13. They were in a three-way tie with Baltimore and Boston. Trying for their third straight win after beating the Rockies yesterday 3-1. They got to Kansas City a little earlier than the Royals. We arrived at 1:30 after beating Baltimore 6-2. Inside.
They had to sit through a 2-hour rain delay up in Denver. CC Sabathia threw 53 pitches.
He goes 4 shutout innings and then has to come out because of that long delay. Swing and a miss. And Francoeur is gone. So are the Royals as New York claims game 1 of this 3-game series by a final of 11-6. They've been doing it with great pitching much of this season, but HUD tonight, it really was their offense. 11 runs on 16 hits.
Yeah, they jumped on some Royals pitching tonight. They weren't missing. Wade Davis had a hard time keeping the ball down. They capitalized on him. Bruce Chen gave up his first run, and Joe Girardi gets his 500th win as a manager.
He moves his team 8 games over 500, 21 and 13. The Royals fall to 18 and 14. They've had a tough time this week, and they'll try and right the ship tomorrow night at 6 o'clock as James Shields will match up against Andy Pettit.
Oh, can't wait for that one.
We'll be right back.